You guys remember like a year ago, I introduced the digital cluster to E-Series cars. I installed it onto the E90. I thought it was an absolutely insane product. A lot of you guys didn't know it existed. One of the most common comments that I received in that video was, when will it be available for the E46? Well guys, good news. I heard you guys loud and clear. ID4 Motion heard you guys loud and clear, and check this out. One of the very first digital clusters for the E46 platform. I am beyond excited to show you guys a small preview of what to expect with this cluster. We'll turn it on today, show you guys some of the skins and some of the features and everything that you get when eventually it becomes available. Before I show you guys the E46 cluster, I do want to show you this, guys. We do have some available for the E90X. We do have a few. E82, so 135, 128, E90X, E60, E60. So if you guys are interested, they're in stock, ready to ship. USA shipping, they ship right away. You get them normally within a week. As far as the E46 cluster, I know since a lot of you guys are going to ask about it, it'll be available hopefully around May-ish, and it's going to be about the same price and structure, with 3 different tiers being the basic, the standard, and the premium. So make sure, if you guys need a digital cluster, which is such an amazing mod, we do have them here, vehiclevirus.com. I'll leave links down in the description below for every single one of them. So the truth is that ID4 Motion sent me this kit in time for BMW Invasion. You guys know I was attending that show and we had a booth set up. They wanted me to showcase this essentially to the world, everybody attending the event. But sadly, my booth was kind of set up in an area where I didn't have any access to power, so we couldn't do it. So I thought it was only right to at least make a quick dedicated video that quickly kind of overviews and talks about some of the things you can expect with the cluster. So we'll unbox everything that they sent me, then we'll connect it, put some power source to it, and see what it looks like. And I don't know, I guess my expectations are the same as yours, because it's the first time me seeing this in real world actually working. Let me show you guys. So first things first, if you guys purchase a cluster for the E90X, it's very similar style. It's a bracket that attaches to the screen itself. This attaches to your dashboard once you remove the stock OEM one. Comes in a box like this, so it's nice and safe during transport. And just like the other clusters that I sell, it's the same screen, pretty wide. And here's the back of it right here with all the connections right here. This section right here says Vehicle Virus, because I am the vendor for this product, or will be the vendor for this product. Made in the Netherlands, all the information, and of course it says here E46 left-hand drive. It also comes with a screen protector. You guys laughed at me when I first talked about this in the first cluster video, because I didn't put it on thinking it was just a screen protector. This is actually an anti-reflective screen protector, so it helps with glare. Not only that, it helps protect the screen. You definitely need this in sunny states like here in Florida. Like, it's really hard to look at the screen without this, and especially on video you guys see all the glare. So very easy to install, such a simple add-on, but it makes all the difference in the world. So we're gonna set the screen here to the side so I can show you what else it came with. This is a brand new designed cluster trim. So this goes within the dashboard to make the screen fit, flush, and it's gonna make it seem like it belongs there. So it's a nice flush OEM look. It's a little bit wider than the E90X one. It's almost the size of the E60, E70 ones that we sell. Kind of awkward looking, but I guess that's just the shape of the cutout for the E46 dash. So essentially this is what it would look like. So it would go this way, and then you would have the bracket up top here. Let me see if I can get this right here. Slides right back in. This is kind of wedge here. There's little mountain holes here. That's where your cluster essentially locks in. And just pretend that this yellow line is not here. This is just a protective layer, so the screen doesn't get scratched. This is what's gonna look like. Pretty sleek, very modern, and especially for an E46 car, right? We're talking about like early 2000s. This is going to be a complete game changer. And I get it. There's a lot of BMW purists out there. They're going to freaking hate it because you're changing such an iconic car and ruining it. And then you'll have the boys that are super pissed because it's super expensive. And, you get those kind of people. There's a market for everybody, guys. And the clusters sell out almost every single week. And some people actually like to change the interior and try something different that stands out from the rest. Just saying. So we'll put this here to the side. And then we'll open up one of the boxes that they sent over. I never really got to use this on an E90X cluster that I have. but this is very, very nice. Look how thin it is, first of all. This is a remote to control the cluster. So normally you have the lever that sticks out of the left-hand side of the steering wheel, and you use that. It's like the BC button, and then like the little, it's like, I don't know, it's like a little analog kind of remote that goes up and down. It's doable, it works, but it's just not as responsive, and I feel like it wears out over time. And then, you know, going back and all that stuff, it's just finicky because you only have one button really, and then you have an up and down, so it's very limited. This one right here essentially gives you the option to hit enter, go back, up and down, much more flexibility. There's double-sided type in the back, so you can essentially, I don't know, I guess just stick it anywhere that you decide to. And since it's so small, it doesn't really take up a lot of space. Only thing I don't like, it's not a wireless solution, so you have a plug. If you look at the back of the cluster here, it plugs into the back right here. There you go. So somehow you got to find a way to route it so it can come out of somewhere. Probably going to come out of the bottom kick panel area underneath the steering wheel. Route it in a way that it looks clean. I might try this on the E90X and make a video on it so you guys can see this. I think this is pretty dandy. Better than using that damn lever, that damn stock that's there on the left-hand side. So we'll put this to the side and keep moving on to whatever else is included. We got this box here. This is the backup camera. So another thing I never did to the cluster that I have is that this integrates the backup camera into the cluster itself, so you can actually see like the backup camera in the screen. It's all integrated like modern cars. So I can add this to the E46, I can add this to the E90. However, I never did it for the E90, but it's very convenient for those that don't want to lose that feature. Really cool, connects, very easy, plug and play. And yeah, so when the cluster eventually comes out, it's not going to look like this. This is a wiring nightmare, and this is because this is a beta product for me to showcase some of the possibilities with the cluster. This is not what's going to look like when it comes out. Actually, give me a second and I'll show you guys what a harness would look like. This is normally what a harness would look like. Plug and play, guys. That's the most important thing about this upgrade. You don't need to do any coding. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to transfer anything like, you know, that's very like, I don't know how to say, like difficult or complicated. No, it does everything for you. This harness, this is the one for the E60. So this harness essentially communicates with the DME, transfers over all the information like mileage, whether your fuel status, engine oil temperature, water temperature, which the E46 conveniently has on the cluster. All that information is transferred over to the digital cluster as if it was an OEM one, just in a modern style. So this is actually very, very cool, just because it's plug and play and anybody can do it. It's not difficult. You literally, we'll demonstrate later on. You just unscrew the cluster trim, take the cluster out, plug this into the new one, plug it into the OEM port that's back there, tighten it up, and that's it. You're good to go. So bear with me while I try to figure out this madness right here. The good thing is that ID4 Motion did label everything. So we have the ignition wire, we have power, we need 12-volt supply. This, I'm assuming, is for the backup camera, which is just a easy plug-in. Let's see. Yeah, so we got the backup camera here, and it just plugs in like that. I'm not even sure exactly why I'm plugging this in, because we're not gonna use it. But I'll plug it in anyways, because it was provided. And then we have the harness right here. So this is what plugs into the back of the cluster. Like I said, it's a much simpler process, or simple, how do I say it? Simple connector. Once this cluster actually comes out, you won't get this, you know, all these wires all over the place. So that connects back there, and we have ground, and like I said, ignition and power. So I actually opened up the trunk of the E46 to expose the battery. We're gonna steal some energy from there so we can power this cluster up and see what it's all about. First things first, so I already got the power that I needed. I had to connect this remote to the back so we can control the cluster, and then this one right here, and let's see if it works. Ah, you seen that? It's hard to see, but it's starting up. I can see a little bit of a backlight. We might have to adjust the backlight brightness so you guys can see, but I can definitely. Oh, look at that! Happy New Year! We're in March. That looks better than the one on my E90X. What bullshit is that? Anyways, it looks very good. Look at it, guys. It's pretty sleek. So you have the RPM here in the middle. Obviously we have like the measurements not in, you know, US standard, but that's okay. We can change that. That's the cool thing about having anything digital. You can always modify the settings and stuff like that, from like, you know, kilometers per hour versus miles per hour. Another feature that we don't even have in the E90X is you can see when the doors are open or not, and when the headlights are on. Interesting. I'm hyped because this E46 M3 has a pretty bad cluster, and I think it's gonna really benefit from this. It's gonna be like such a nice touch. You get all the warnings here. Obviously we have the Christmas tree status because it's not really connected to the car. So traction control off, ABS, and all like the services do, coolant, windshield wiper, all of it's freaking out. But pretty cool. What I'll do is first is I'll update the cluster. That's another good thing about, you know, purchasing a cluster. You don't have to worry about like a newer version coming out later on. You hear that voice crack? So you don't have to worry about a new version coming out, because what happens is the ID4 Motion likes to improve their design and their software over time, and they provide free updates on their website. You literally just need a USB stick, you format it, add the file to it, and you can update your cluster super easy. In a situation like this, because it sits inside of the dashboard, you might want to run like an extension. So here's a USB plug, you run an extension outside so it's always accessible, and it takes like a minute or so to update anytime either you buy additional digital goods or if they have a new update to fix certain things. I know with the E90X one, there was a bunch of issues when it first came out, as far as like, you know, there was no option to check your oil level. You know, the mileage trip wasn't accurate, fuel tank level wasn't accurate. They fixed that. They've added features to, I guess, to make that work better, and they've just made it much more user friendly, so you can get to certain highly used options much easier. So I have an update on this USB stick right now, and we're gonna go ahead and plug it into the cluster, and I'll show you guys how easy it is to update. Here you go. You insert the USB stick once the cluster is fully on, and it should start updating automatically. There it is, software update, status extract and update. So we just have to wait for it to get updated. Like I said, it'll take like a minute or so. Once the update's fully like installed, the cluster's gonna reset, boot back up, and at that point, you kind of want to turn it off completely. I mean, this is the steps I would take if I had it on my car. I don't know about this one since it's not technically, you know, installed to the car. But you would turn it off, let it sleep for a little bit, then you'll turn it back on, and then whatever update or whatever add-ons you got are gonna be active within the cluster itself. All right, so the cluster's rebooting. ID4 Motion told me there is a nice little surprise after the update. Wait for it. Ah, that's dope. Vehicle virals. What's up? That's good. So we have one more update to do, but I'm not gonna do that one on camera. I'll do it off camera, and then once we do that, then we'll get back on track and I'll show you guys all the features. So went ahead and updated the cluster with the second update. Decided to peel this off because it just looks so much more crispier without the screen protector. Like, just look how crisp it is. Let me look. Oh yeah, much better. I should have showed it to you guys from the beginning like that. But anyways, very clean, high pixel density. It looks extremely smooth as well. I like that a lot. So let's just sit this cluster down. I'm gonna put the trim back on so we can get the full experience. And then we'll go over the menus and what to expect. So this might seem a bit unorganized as we go through the menus, because obviously this is my first time messing with this cluster. So I'm gonna try my best to, I guess, break it down for you guys to understand. I think that the menu system is very similar to like the older ones that they offer for the E-chassis cars, but we will see. We do have this dandy remote right here, so it's gonna make things easier to go, you know, maneuver the menu. But what we see here is we have the RPM, vehicle status, which I'm guessing is going to show you headlights, taillights, door opening and stuff like that. You got the fuel gauge that's integrated on the left hand side. I think that's really cool. That looks really cool, very modern. You're going to see your mileage here, probably your mileage trip. And there's right side here, you have fuel economy, outside temperature, trip B, and then you have the, I believe that's coolant temperature, but I'm sure you can swap that out for oil temperature as well. I mean oil temperature and coolant temperature. I'm sure you can change between them just like the other clusters. Let's go ahead and look through the menus. We'll hit the menu button and see. Okay, so very first one is appearance. Let's see if it came with any other. Oh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. That's pretty cool. So you have an analog style one. Oh, look at that. So if you don't press anything, it kind of backs out of the menu. I guess you have a time limit, and then it backs out to like the main screen. There you go. Alpine glare, Alpine shade. That's pretty cool. I like that. And then we have cobalt glare. By the way, my pronunciation is absolutely awful, but just bear with me. We go down, cobalt shade, teal glare. That looks pretty cool as well. So I guess, you know, you'll have an option to kind of like match the theme of your car, whatever you're going for, color wise. Jade glare. I'm really starting to like these themes compared to the E90X one. There is one thing that I heard from ID4 Motion. These updates are going to come eventually to the E90X and E60, E70 as well. That's a cool thing about these digital products, is that you can update them, you know, over time. So I think I skipped a few. Let me see if I go back up there. Okay, Jade shade, Dakar glare, Dakar shade, Inca glare, Inca shade, Rosso glare. God, these names are so creative. Regal glare, Regal shade, and I think that's it. That's the end of it. So we'll go back. I'm going to go back to Hypergrid, where we have Oxide Locks. So this is, I guess this is the theme for all digital. So you got Oxide Knox, Oxide Lock. This is awesome. This is very sleek. I mean, it's a race car. And if you're equipped in this on the E46 M3, which is normally used as a track car, it just fits it very, very nicely. Sonic Lux, Sonic Fox, or no, Sonic Knox, Pertle, Lux. God, these names are tough for me. And then you have Patrol Knox. Okay, that's just Patrol. It's just the font that has me kind of lost. So Patrol Lux and Patrol Knox. Venom Lux, Venom Knox, Solar Lux, Solar Knox. Yo, comment section if you guys want to, you know, you guys want to make fun of me. Pyro Lux, Pyro Knox, and Mola Lux. That is dope. If you have an Emola Red E46, there you go. That's your go-to. A Mola Knox right there as well. Royal Lux. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of options. I'm sure what I'm showing you guys here is part of the premium package, which includes everything. I'm almost positive, because there's a whole bunch of options. Then we have Orbit Drift. Okay, so it's just like the factory one. I mean, not the factory one, but the one that obviously the cluster launched to, but just in different colors. And that Cosmic Orbit looks freaking awesome. Crimson Orbit, Plasma Orbit, Solaris Orbit, Aurora Orbit, Celestial Orbit, and yeah, so Polaris Orbit and Optimus Orbit. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of options, a lot of themes to really customize it to your liking. So then going back to the main menu, let's see what else we have.
The cluster is loaded with extra features. Apart from getting everything you normally get from an OEM E46 cluster, you'll also get additional features like shift indicator lights and G-force meter, which I find extremely interesting. Since the cluster is fully digital, you can also adjust the RPM value and adjust the speedometer offset for those that run aftermarket wheels.
So as you guys can tell, this interior modification for the E46 is going to be absolutely game-changing, just like it was for the E90, the E60, and the E82, and the E70, E89, all of them, because it's just so different. And there's nobody else, there's no other company out there that offers such a unique product. This is the easy way to modernize it and get all these features and customization ability that you just were never able to do. So I really like that a lot. What I'm going to try to do is right now is remove the old cluster, try to see if I can show you guys how it fits, I guess the fitment. I'm not going to really be able to power it up. Maybe I will be able to power it up. It'll just be some sketch way to do it. But I just want to show you guys how the cluster looks like installed onto the dashboard. And then I guess we'll leave the video at that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and swap out the cluster. I'm not really going to show, you know, all of it, just because it's probably something I'm going to do once I get like the actual cluster working with the car and the proper harness. And I'll show you guys every single detail to get it to work properly. My goal here is just to show you what it looks like installed. Plus, this steering wheel is gonna look absolutely amazing with the cluster because it already has a digital screen. It might be overkill, but I guess there's only really one way to find out. Super simple. You got these T15 screws that hold this in place. You unscrew it, and then you have two lever style connectors in the back. I'm going to put it side by side next to the digital cluster so you guys can see the difference. Woo! That's an upgrade. I guess the only thing that I would change, well, not that I would change, but it's going to be hard getting used to, is that the OEM cluster uses most of its space, and this one just uses the center. It's not a bad thing, but you have this empty space here, and there. I mean, but other than that, I think I like it. Plus, this one tends to like fall apart. This section is like starting to melt. Doesn't even look right. If you notice the needles, this is orange, this one's like beige, this one's like caca. So this turns to crap over time. Not something that you have to worry about with the digital. Here it is, guys. Cluster is installed. Got power coming externally to power the cluster, and it looks pretty good. Fitment is pretty precise all the way around. Maybe the bottom side can be slightly more flush, but other than that, it looks very good. Looks like it belongs there. Gives the interior of the E46 a modern appearance for sure. Went with the orange theme so it can, you know, match the vinyl wrap and the strip that's right here on the custom steering wheel. Very excited. Can't wait for this cluster to drop and be fully functional so I can show you guys how awesome it is. I hope you guys are excited as I am. Because I mean, this is going to be a complete game changer for the E46 chassis. Of course, I'll have a full install video when the cluster comes out on this channel, so make sure to subscribe for more content. If you guys want to see a fully functional cluster on an actual car, like driving the car, I encourage you guys to watch the video on screen right now. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time.